Hi guys, Hardy here. This is a review of Mafia Definitive Edition that just launched today. It is available to download on PC, PlayStation 4 and Xbox. Mafia Definitive Edition is an interesting time capsule that not only lets players experience Tommy Angelo's rise in Lost Heaven, but will likely inspire greater appreciation for how far the industry has come since 2002. Hangar 13 has rebuilt the nearly 20-year-old game, bringing the visuals up to contemporary standards and adding a few quality of life enhancements while ultimately respecting the original's core design. It's an admirable approach, but then you have to actually play the damn thing. The early Mafia games used their open worlds differently than their competitors, with cities that aren't really interactive playgrounds but more similar to a film soundstage. You're free to peel off from the next story beat and explore side streets and back roads, but don't expect to find much in the way of optional activities or interesting secrets. Instead, the narrative relentlessly drives you forward, with the end of one chapter propelling you right into the next one. Need to catch your breath? Too bad, you don't get that here. It's an interesting approach and one that I'd probably enjoy more if the story was more engaging. Unfortunately, Angelo's tale is disjointed and boring, with time skips that undermine how you're supposed to feel about the relationship that he has apparently built over the years. Angelo's story is told in flashbacks as he is going over his past with an investigator. He starts his rise as a taxi driver, pulled into the mob by happenstance, then becomes the victim and participant in all the intrigue, backstabbing and capers you'd expect. There's an interesting tale in here somewhere, but the timeline moves so erratically that I never felt connected with Angelo's plight as a man caught between loyalty. We meet his eventual wife and are told that they love each other, but the interactions are so lifeless and sparse that Angelo's eventual speech about the importance of family feels hollow and unearned. The newly recorded voice performances are solid, but inconsistent, like Angelo and Don Celery give understated, naturalistic performance. It's jarring to hear them interact with characters like Polly, who gives his lines a livelier and occasionally hammy read. Sometimes it feels like these characters have been yanked from different stories. Nearly every mission predictably ends in a hail of gunfire. It's a gangster story after all. In addition to tossing molotovs and filling the air with bullets, I also hurled a consistent stream of profanity at my television. The gunplay is simply terrible, with weapons that feel sluggish and underpowered. It's not uncommon in this game to dial in several headshots before an enemy registers the damage, flopping to the ground in a dramatic ragdoll flop. Rival gangsters glide between cover points like they are ice skating, or pop in and out of safety in suicidal frenzies. Melee combat is even worse, with successful button smashing rewarding you with the canned finishing move animations, and woe to those who trigger one of these unskippable animations in the middle of a battle. Enemies may be able to shrug off bullets, but you are not so lucky. Ultimately, it's difficult to shake the very real feeling that you are playing a relic from a bygone era. There are some set-piece moments such as busting down a warehouse door with a rail car or escaping an abandoned prison, but the thrills that they may have once offered are brought down to the subpar gameplay you are stuck with once the smoke clears. The worst examples are the times when you are forced into stealth sequences. There are only a few of those in sections, thankfully, but the rise the alarm means game over failure stakes make them more frustrating than in building tension. The original Mafia was well received at its release, and I'm sure a lot of people remember it fondly. For me, it's something that's probably best seen as a foundational statement in a series that got better over time. As part of the Mafia trilogy, it's an interesting footnote on what came before. As a standalone game that can hold its own against modern titles in the open world genre, forget about it. So my final verdict, if you want to dive into nostalgia and play it once again, Mafia Definitive Edition might have some value for you, but for first time players, you can skip it. There are better games out there. So this is it for this video. I upload videos every day ranging from game reviews to industry news as well. So make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated.